Hey everybody, here is today's math tutorial. And the question is, we've got two terms, term 2, which is 12.5, and term 5, which is, whoa, it's a decimal, 195.3125. And the question says, find the formula for the general term Tn if this is a geometric sequence. So, a geometric sequence. So we've got term 2. We don't know what term 1 is. Then we've got term 2. Then we don't know what term 3 is or 4. But we know that term 5 is 195.3125. Okay, so in a geometric sequence like this, we've got term 1. And then to get to term 2, we multiply it by some number, okay? And to get to term 3, you would multiply it by the same number. So that would give us term 2. Multiply it by the same number, that would give you term 3. Multiply it by a number, the same number, and that would give you term 4. Okay? So you keep multiplying it by what we call the common ratio. Okay? And what we want to do is figure out what term 1 is and what r is. Now if we just look at this, we can see that term 5 is equal to the term 2 times r once, twice, and 3 times. Okay, so times r, or r cubed. Okay, and we don't know what r is, but we do know what those ones are. So we can put those numbers in. 195.3125 equals term 2, which is 12.5, times r cubed. Now, we've got those numbers in. We want to solve for r, and since r is being multiplied by 12.5, we want to get rid of the 12.5, so we're going to do the opposite and divide it from both sides. So r cubed equals 195.3125 divided by 12.5. So to figure that out, we'll just plunk those numbers into our calculator. 195.3125 divided by 12.5, and that equals 15.625. So that's not our r value, that's r cubed. Now to figure out what r is, we want to take the cubic root of both sides. Right now r is being cubed, so to just figure out what r is, we do basically the inverse of that and take the cubic root. So that's going to be 15.625 to the power of 1 over 3. Okay, and that will figure out what r is. So we can do that, and we can go take this, and if we just go like that, it'll go answer to the power of, in brackets, 1 divided by 3. And it's important to do that in brackets so that it's putting all of 1/3 to the, all of this to the power of 1 over 3. Otherwise it'll just do to the power of 1 and then divide it by 3. Okay? So that ends up being 2.5. So r equals 2.5. So what that means is whatever our first value was, this is 2.5 times greater, this is 2.5 times greater than that, this is 2.5 times greater than that, and this is 2.5 times greater than that. And so now what we want to do, we've figured out what r is, but we want to figure out what term 1 is, because the question is asking for the formula for Tn. And the formula goes like this: Tn equals term 1 times r, which we've just figured out, to the power of n minus 1. Now, what we can do is use, let's say, this. That is term 5 is equal to term 1 times r to the power of 5 minus 1, since n is equal to 5. So 5 minus 1. And we know that term 5 is this, 195.3125 equal to term 1. And r we said was 2.5, and it's to the power of 4. Okay. Now 2.5 to the power of 4 is 39.0625. I just did that in my head, all by myself. And we said this is equal to 195.3125. Okay, so we just put that to the power of 4. Now if we want to solve for term 1, we just have to divide both sides by 39.0625. Let's try it. 195.3125 divided by 39.0625. And that will give us term 1. So let's bring our calculator up here. And let's try that. So 195.3125 divided by 39.0625. What will it be? 5. Whoa, I like it when it's nice numbers. So term 1 is 5. Okay, so what that means is that this is 5. And we said that r is 2.5. So if you multiply 5 by 2.5, you get 12.5. If you multiply 12.5 by our r value of 2.5, you'd get the next term. And multiply that by 2.5, you'd get term 4. Multiply that by 2.5, you get term 5. And it would go on and on forever. You could do this sequence for 7 years if you wanted. Right? And now we want to figure out the general formula for Tn, and we know that it's equal to term 1 times r to the power of n minus 1. Term 1 we said is 5, so this equals 5, and r is 2.5, and that is the power of n minus 1. And so that question is done. We figured out the general form for this geometric sequence. If we wanted to figure out what term, 47 is, it would equal 5 times 2.5 to the power of 47 minus 1, which is 46. And so we can figure out any term in the sequence. I hope that helps.